Oh, you already got it? Yay, okay. So yeah, just go ahead and check on that, make sure you can get in. So I think what I'm gonna do is try and give you an overview of the site and then some of the resources that will be best for all of you. If you have questions, please speak up and let me know. There's so much content in here, and that's the tricky thing, is trying to figure out how much I can show you in 45 minutes. But what I'll do is I'll kind of give you an overall walkthrough and then show you some of the things that will be good in terms of setting alerts and workflow and things like that, and focus on your specific topics. So just so you know, this site is geared a little bit more towards business. So in terms of environmental content, we've got a ton. We're going to have a lot of really good resources in oil and gas. In terms of Indian law, that's not our focus, but we do have a lot of great stuff in terms of the news and dockets and sample resources that you can set alerts. So that's what I'm going to show to you. And in terms of the Civ Pro kind of topic, it was Civ Pro, right? Yeah, we've got some secondary content that's pretty good in that area. So these are going to be the specialty areas on the system. If you do find yourself working in one of these areas down the road, you want to spend time in the practice center. The reason why is because everything you need, and I know you had another research fellow who was maybe doing or not a research fellow, but a research assistant in labor and employment. This would be a really good resource for that person because everything we have for labor and employment is on this one page. So rather than fish around the site to find it, you can find everything in this one place. And that would even include the search functionality. And so just kind of keep that in the back of your mind if you guys do need something in one of these topic areas down the road. I'm going to show you litigation and dockets just because if you are asked to find a court document, you want to use Bloomberg for that 100%. And the reason why is because it's free in this system, where normally you'd have to pay on case.
Telling Gabriel.
Okay. Yeah, it's hands down the best. It's the easiest search and it's free, and that would be for all federal court documents. And then for state court, it's just going to vary by state. And so if you're asked to find a state court document, you ideally want to go to docket coverage to start, because you'll get a map of the entire United States. And then say you're asked to find something obscure in a state that you really know nothing about. Let's just pick Louisiana. You could pop into Louisiana and see, okay, for these state district courts, if you see docket only, you're only going to have a face of the docket, not the proceedings. And so this is really important. The reason why I point this out is because we get a lot of questions on this. You know, can you get this Superior Court document for me? I don't have any additional access. What you see is what we have, and you guys have the same access. So if it says docket only, it's just the docket. If it says fully electronic, that means you have that document and you can pull it up for free. So if you guys, and just let me know too, if you think you'll be doing this or you want to see it, I can show you it in depth. If you're like, no, I'm not doing any of that kind of research this summer, I don't have to show it to you. So it's kind of up to you. I want this to be geared towards you.
Well, it's going to be federal, so
Okay.
how would you find a federal case or something?
Okay.
Essentially all the filings and stuff like that.
So let me show that to you now, since you're going to have to do that. Okay, so a couple of different options for you. I'm going to go back to the home page. If you know the case name, one really easy way to find the docket would be to plug that straight into the Go bar. So as an example, if you're starting with a case, say Walmart v. Dukes, if you plug that name into the Go bar and jump down into court opinions, by pulling up the case, we often have a link to the docket. So that's one way to find a docket. And you'll see this is the case for Walmart v. Dukes. If I jump down to the right-hand side, you'll see a link to the related docket, and you can jump immediately into the docket that way. So that's one way, but that's only going to be if you have the case to start with. Backtracking, if you have maybe the court that you need to work with, or you have the topical area, like you need to find dockets or sample documents on some sort of issue that you're working on, you want to start in litigation and dockets. And so in litigation and dockets, the best place to run a search is within search dockets right here. This is where I tend to run all of my searches because there are the most optioned in terms of your search limitations. So, for instance, you can plug in your port right here. You can plug in your keywords. Your keywords are great, especially if you're doing overall research. I would definitely suggest using those. Docket number is going to be the classification for the docket. So that would show you how you want to enter the format for district court or bankruptcy court or circuit court. This is a little tricky, and I even have a lot of professors who have questions about this. If you haven't used it, if you're unsure, just leave that blank and search other functionality because it can trip you up. But the reason why I point out this cheat sheet is because that is pretty helpful. This to me is one of the best ways to search the party options. So if, for instance, you wanted Samsung as a plaintiff and Apple as a defendant, have you heard?
It would have its own category.
I know. And then you wanted to search specifically Samsung v. Apple, you want to make sure this is checked to all and not to any, because otherwise you're going to get 1,000 results with Samsung as the plaintiff and Apple as the defendant. Here, these are tricky. So again, if you have the judge's name, awesome. That's a really great place to start. This is the trick. You have to use terms and connectors and Boolean searching in Bloomberg. And so if the judge's name was Michael Smith, just as an example, Michael might have a middle name, or Mike might go by Michael or Mike. And so you want to make sure when you're entering it in the docket, you're accounting for the difference in first name and the middle name. Same with the case name and attorney and firm name. So just be aware of that. And then dockets and documents, leave that checked, because that way if the documents are available, you can get them. Otherwise, you want dockets only. And then case status, open or closed. If you know you're searching one that's ongoing, then you want to open. If a decision has already been made, then you can check that to close. So those are the different search options. Do you have any questions on those?
No, that's perfect.
Okay, great. So let me just pull up a docket and I'll show you how to walk through it and just some of the things that are important on the system. Make sure I don't have anything else that's checked. Okay, so we'll do Samsung v. Apple. So whenever you run a search on Bloomberg, you're going to see a similar kind of format or layout on this following page. So a couple things you want to kind of keep your eye out for. You can always narrow by keyword here. You can narrow by date. You can create a search alert. I would definitely suggest creating search alerts this summer to all of you, because it's a really great way to stay on top of something and not have to go on Bloomberg to stay on top of it. So if you ran this search and you wanted to set a title and it was something you really need every day, I would set that frequency to even daily or maybe as available, depending on what you need. And then all you have to do is go ahead and save it down here. And I'll show you where we can enable your email so you can get it to your email rather than have to go on the system. And just so you guys know, we have alerts for cases, we have alerts for news, we have alerts for dockets. So you can set an alert for almost anything. And I would definitely suggest setting them for cases and for news and for dockets if those are some of the things you're going to be working on. So that's always going to be on the left-hand side here. And then you'll have your additional filters over on the bottom on the left-hand side. And what we can do is just scroll down to one that happened in the United States and pull that up so I can walk you through the docket. So this one happened in California. And have you looked at a docket before, or is this the first time?
First one.
Okay, cool. Let me walk you through it then. So up at the top, you're going to have the party name, so Samsung v. Apple. This is the docket number that I was telling you about. So you want to enter it in exactly as so. It's like essentially the same thing as a case citation. It's just the docket identification. Again, the party names, it's a civil case. You can see when it was filed, it's closed, it's a patent law decision, and you have the judge and the actual cause of action. What's really neat is if it is a patent kind of case, then you're going to have links directly into the patents. So for this one, you can go ahead. I think this is so cool. The IP stuff's really neat. So I'm not going to spend a ton of time on this because this is not what you're working on, but you can go ahead and click into the patent and you can see the patent with the images. And you guys have access to all of this in the system. And I'm gonna go back and show you how you would actually pull up the documents. So as you scroll down, you'll see the party and attorney names. And then as I keep scrolling, here is where I'm gonna see the different documents. So for instance, the complaint in this case, if I go ahead and click on view, that will allow me to pull up the complaint immediately within the system. I know, it's awesome. And just so you guys know, you can use this for your own personal research too. When I was in practice, I was working on a California case that was pretty unique, and I didn't really have a lot of information on where I could go to help my client, and I found another California case that was very similar. And what I did is I went to the docket and found the attorneys who represented the other similar party, and I called them and I said, you know, I'm a new attorney, I'm a baby attorney, I could really use your help, and spoke to that attorney. We didn't have any conflicts of interest or anything like that. So it's a really good way to kind of research other similar issues and get information. So when you're looking at the docket, you want to take a look at these options up at the top. Print download will allow you to just print it right away, self-explanatory. Email is nice because you can email to anyone and not just someone with a Bloomberg account. So if you have someone else you're working with or for and they don't have a Bloomberg account, you can email them this document. Again, self-explanatory. Workspaces are folders. And so what I would recommend to you all is start a folder for whatever you're working on right now. If I click on workspace, what I can do, these are the ones I've already set up, but you'll see you all have a default, and then you can all create a new workspace. So I would create a new workspace, name it, and then save it, and your document will save in your folders. And what's nice is that way you don't lose it, you don't have to go back into the system to find it. That will save as long as you have a Bloomberg account, so it's not going to go away. And then your queue, you'll see your queue is always located over here. It's a quick way to save something. So if you wanted to just file this away for the meantime, you don't have time to read it, if you click queue, you'll see it saved straight at the top. It's almost like a bucket, and then you can go ahead and add it to a workspace or get rid of it at 7. That will save for 6 months, so that's not going to last forever. So those are the things you're going to see whenever you look at any document, not just a docket. You're also going to see a notepad over here, and this will allow you to take notes alongside of the document, save them, and again, this will also save as long as you have a Bloomberg account. So I would definitely recommend that too. Do you have any questions on that so far? Okay, so let me go back to the docket sheet and show you a few other things. So when you're looking at a document like this one doesn't have one, you may also see request where it says to view. If that is the case, same process. You click request, and in that case, nobody has yet pulled it into the system, so you're the first to do that. All you have to do is click request. You're going to get a little pop-up telling you it's available or it's not, and then if it is available, you click that button and it will pull the document up for you. So it's the same process, but you don't have to worry. Just to back up a step, in this system, you guys have access to everything and you're not charged for anything. That would go for now, and it's the same when you have a paying account. So you don't have to worry about what you click on. It's kind of a one kind of size fits all. There's one difference when you do get out and practice down the road, and that's that you would pay for a docket. So you pay the pay surcharge, which is 10 cents a page. You guys don't even have to worry about that for a very long time, but just so you are aware of that difference. So up here at the top, you're going to see those same things I just showed you, but 2 additional options, and one is to track and one is to update. So if you have a docket that you're working on this summer and it's for a client, and you say, you know what, I need to stay on top of this docket, you want to track it. So by tracking it, the title is going to be the name of the parties. You can set the frequency, and then again go ahead and click accept. And what this will do is anytime there's new filing, you're going to get a notification of that new filing, so you're not going to miss anything. Set tracks. I have some faculty who set tracks for everything they're interested in, and the reason why is because you don't want to find out about a document being filed after the fact. You want to know immediately. And so I can't suggest this enough. It's like setting an alert for something else. And then the last thing here is to update the docket. This is going to be really, really important when a docket is open, because you want to make sure that this date is current as of today. And what that will ensure is that you have all documents that have been filed as of today. So that date says it's almost a week ago or more than a week ago. It's not important for this case because it's closed, so we know there have been no new documents filed, but in the case it's open, if you update the docket, all you have to do is click accept right here. That date will change when we refresh the page, and that way you know everything that's been filed is within the system. So it's going to tell you docket unchanged, no additional changes. But we can go ahead and click refresh, and now we know, okay, we've got everything. So those are the essentials in terms of walking through a docket. Do you guys feel comfortable with that? Enough?
Yeah, it's pretty amazing to be able to get all these documents in pending litigation like this.
It's awesome.
Love it.
It's so neat, and like even just it's cool to, like, I think a good way to start when you're learning is to look up a current event. Like something that I really like. I like sports a lot, and I hate Alex Rodriguez.
I saw that on your queue and I was like, ooh, that looks interesting.
Exactly. Okay, so I'm originally from Boston, so anything Yankees or New York.
I'm gonna wear a Yankee shirt.
Don't get her started.
So something like that, like he was sued by the MLB for steroid use. You guys have access to all of those court filings. It's just so cool. So what you can do is plug in his name and MLB as your party names, and pull up all of those documents. And he countersued the MLB and got his suspension reduced for steroid use. So just find something you're interested in and plug those things in so you can see how this works. So it's a really good way to practice. So again, that's all in litigation and dockets. So I want to show you how to find some case law and secondary content, because that's going to be useful to all of you. So a couple different ways I would start for just a general Bloomberg search. Right here, the Go bar is the fastest, easiest way to run a search. It's probably most similar to what you've already used, where all legal content is a more sophisticated way to run a search. And the reason why is because we have various databases which you can pick and choose in this option. I'm going to show you how to use both. So to start, I'll start here from the Go bar first. When you're in the Go bar, a couple different things. So let's go ahead, I'll type in the word battery. When I plug in a word, I'm going to have a drop down. You want to make sure not to hit enter or go, because you want to see all the different options when you type in your word. So all legal content would actually allow us to run the same searches right here without filtering first. If you needed a citation, you can search that. Court opinions, dockets, news. We've got a dictionary, so that's really nice. And then most cited court opinions. This to me is probably my favorite thing about the Go bar, and the reason why is because you guys, I'm sure, will hear statutes by their popular name. So a popular example of this is the Affordable Care Act. Most people don't know where that's located in the code, but if you were to plug that in by affordable care, you'll find out it's actually PAPACA is the full name of it. It's the Patient Protection and Affordable Care Act. You could even plug in Obama, and that would pop up. So this is sophisticated and fast.
Just in case you think it's actually called Obamacare.
Because a lot of people do think that.
Yeah.
So rather than know the statute, if you click on quick links, you're going to have the exact place where you can go to find Obamacare or Affordable Care or PAPACA. And I can't tell you how much time this will save. Again, I can tell you all my war stories from practice, but we didn't have any kind of feature like this when I was in practice. And so I was in healthcare, and I had to often find things by the popular name, and it's hard. So plug it in the Go bar. It's a really quick way to find the location of the statute. To go back to battery and just show you guys what else pops up. You're also going to have companies and people. So if you're asked to find any information on a public company or on a person, you can also do that on the system too. It's going to be public companies because that information is required. So private companies, it's a little bit more varied, but if you were just interested, I'm trying to think of an example that would be helpful to you this summer, or if anyone just has an idea of something they want to look up, I can
oil and gas company?
That's what I was thinking. Do you know how big
Like
public
in
would?
Canada or
Exxon, BP.
Exxon,
Yeah, good idea.
British Petroleum?
Actually, I have a question.
Uh-huh.
I noticed there's a link to like the Edgar page. Is
Yeah.
that just the link straight to the government?
No, that's a great question. So I'll jump into that and your question, and then I'll show you Exxon in a second. So, and this all ties together really well, actually. So to first answer your question, so our Edgar page we're gonna have all public filings. So the nice thing about searching Edgar is that we don't link directly into the SEC. So just to even back up, public companies are required to make all of these documents public. The SEC would normally have all of these documents. We have them too within Edgar. And our Edgar system is easier to search than the SEC's website.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we essentially take all this content and then we make it easier to use. It's the same with the dockets. So what I show you and what we can do for Exxon is to pull up some of those filings within Edgar. And you can also start with Edgar rather than start with the company information. But say we were interested in Exxon. We can plug in Exxon right here. And you'll see everything you want to know about Exxon on this one page. So you're going to get a description of the company. You're going to get management profiles. So these would be all the primary players, like who are the people who are high up at Enron, so the CEO, CFO, the general counsel, things like that. So if we wanted to look at Rex's profile, say right here, we can, usually these are pretty funny because you get pictures. It's like looking at your resume. And you get, you actually get their compensation a lot of the times too.
Wow.
Yeah, it's really
You don't want to know.
No, you don't. So I was actually just teaching a class this past semester, and I was asked to go over hypo about prisons. I had no idea how much money like CEOs of prisons make. It's mind blowing. If you guys want to think about a different industry. So right here we've got whatever he's mentioned in the news.
Now there's the compensation right there.
Yeah, check this out.
Oh,
Mostly stocks.
mostly stocks.
And then if I scroll down, we'll see his education and his board memberships. And sometimes we even get hobbies, which are also usually pretty funny. We don't get that one in here. But anyway, so that's going to be straight from the company page. And then, I mean, the amount of content just on this company page, I could spend a whole class on this. You're going to have capital structure, subsidiaries, where is this company incorporated, or like all the filings. So this would be Edgar right here. So right here, if we jump into filings, you're going to just see them organized by date, and then on the left by date range, but you can filter by different filing here. So if we wanted, for instance, an 8K or a 10K, we could go ahead and filter over here on the left. So we wanted all 8Ks, or maybe we even wanted to limit by industry. But anyway, all you have to do is keep filtering to find the type of form that you need. And so this is now going to bring you into the Edgar system, and you have access to all of these different documents.
Isn't that awesome?
Yeah, it's really, really neat. So let me go back to the company page.
On the company stuff too, I mean, you can find within those companies key people who have graduated from the University of Colorado.
Yes.
So for job searching,
Yeah.
stuff is really, really helpful.
And believe it or not, I actually found my first job that way by looking up all alum, and at that time it was a different system and not Bloomberg, but I looked up all alum who practiced in healthcare who lived in San Francisco, because that's where I went to law school. And I think I got maybe a handful of informational interviews, and one of those led to a real interview, and then I got a position with that firm. So take that and use it. So many opportunities here. And I can show you where to look up a people search too, not from a company. But the other company information that you're going to have access to is performance. This would be financials. And then all news. And then if we scroll down, all federal litigation. And so this is really neat because you can see that they have far more asbestos cases than any other kind of case, which I never would have known actually without looking at this. And keep in mind, this is just federal litigation because state court classifies these situations differently, where this is going to be nature of suit. That's how federal courts classify this. And so that's why you've got federal litigation all over the place. Does that make sense? Okay. So to back up, oh, and just so you guys know too, you can also create a news alert or create a report with this information up at the top. So say, similar to creating an alert on dockets, say you're really interested in staying on top of Enron, what you can do is create a news alert or put them on your watch list. So if I go ahead and add them to my watch list, these are the different companies that I'm following. And what's neat is you can do this just for your own personal information. Like Chipotle is a Colorado company. Do you guys like Chipotle?
Who doesn't?
So if I want to stay on top of Chipotle stock, I can put them on my watch list. And then your watch list is going to be located over here, these two different positions or places. And you'll get all the financials in here, but in the Business Development Center, you also get links to when they're mentioned in the news and any rumors, leads, or insights. So it's a lot of kind of business content and information. And if you scroll down, it's all located here. So these are my companies. I can follow what's going on, etc. But I'm going to back up and show you. I'm getting distracted. I'm like going with 5 million different things because I like doing this stuff. But anyway, I was running that search from the Go bar. I mentioned all legal content, so I want to show you how you would run a search from all legal content and start with a topic and go into secondary sources because I think that's going to be really useful to you guys this summer. So all legal content's on the homepage, and what we can do is if we have a topical area that we need to find something, I would use keywords for that. Just keep in mind you have to use these search operators right here. So if, for instance, I'm just going to use gender discrimination because it's a broad search and it will give us a lot of different secondary options. So if we wanted to do some research on gender discrimination, we didn't know where to start, you can either plug in all U.S. secondary sources, or you can just leave that blank and it's going to search everything we have in the system. I think this is a good place to start. It's going to account for treatises. It's going to account for what I consider our best secondary content, which is our BNA content. And I'll show you guys that in a second. Law reviews, law reports, all that kind of stuff. So this is how I would run my search. We get a lot of questions on international law. If you're looking for something international, we've got this global law tab. And so you'd want to search the global law rather than the U.S. law tab. And I can go ahead and run this.
I just want to mention, since like we talked about BNA earlier, there's sort of the native BNA interface that I was showing you, but you can also get BNA through Bloomberg Law because they bought BNA. So they have all that content there too, including a lot of their treatises.
Mm-hmm. And this is, to me, the best secondary content on the system. If you see BNA, you know it's reputable. For the oil and gas industry, we've got a lot. So I'll show you guys how to find some of that. So again, over on the left are going to be your filters. And just so you know, in terms of filtering, the portfolios are BNA content. They're highly in-depth. So if you want really specific practice information or topical information, the portfolios are great. Same with the manual. Books and treatises are going to be all different books and treatises, not just BNA content. The law reports are also BNA content. So when you see that, it shouldn't be foreign to you. Just keep in mind law reports, manuals, portfolios are all BNA. And you also have practice guides located here too. So if, for instance, I'll jump into portfolios just as an example. Or actually, I know you were interested in treatises. I can show that. That's better. Okay, so you'll see the different topics and then your keywords highlighted here. But if we wanted a treatise or a book or something, let me just go back. Jump in there.
So a lot of the American Bar Association content, treatises are on Bloomberg, and that's terrific practical content.
So they're organized by publisher and by title. And so you'll see for this topic, all the different publishers. You know, this is tricky to me because I'm not sure you would know the best one to search if you're starting with a broad search like this, but if you create a more narrow search to begin with, you wouldn't have as many options. I just searched something incredibly broad to show you the options. So just kind of keep that in mind. And then if you were to narrow, so say we wanted this Bloomberg DNA book, we could go ahead and take a look at gender discrimination as related to religion. And so again, this is just all secondary content. I think for you all, it's a place I would recommend to start as you start your research on the system. And then within these secondary content, you're going to also have links to statutes and case law and things like that. So Title VII prohibits discrimination based on religion. We've got a footnote. And if we click on that, it's going to bring us straight down to our statute. And we can jump right into that. And what's nice is then from this, you have links to case analysis. So you can just kind of keep running with it. And if I were to jump into case analysis, we can then go ahead and filter more by keyword or by topic. And when you're looking at this case analysis, a couple things to keep in mind. You have the ability to search extracts or search the full text. I would probably search the full text rather than just this quick little snippet. And then also, you'll see the strength of the discussion over here. Is it strong? Is it weak? So kind of keep that in mind, and you'll see it right below the case. And then you'll see your topic filters down here. Let me pull up a case and show you how B-Site works, because that's similar to Shepherd's and to KeySite, and that's something you should know. So I'm just going to go ahead and pull this one up. This is actually, that's not a good example. This one was just handed down. I'll go back into Walmart Reviews because that one has a million sites. So let's see. I'm going to go into most cited court opinions right here. Did you read this case this past year? Okay, so it's a gender discrimination.
Yeah, we did. We
Oh,
wrote
yeah,
last
super.
one. Yeah.
Class action.
Right.
I didn't know what happened.
Okay, so,
Yes.
You know the bottom line.
Yeah, we did class.
oh, that's strange. You just pulled up Petzl. We don't want that. We want Walmart. Okay. There we go. Okay, so gender discrimination against everybody's favorite company, Walmart Reduced. So this is a good one because it has so many citations, and it was just handed down in 2011. It's a fairly recent case. When you're looking at a case on Bloomberg, you're going to notice a little icon right here at the top, as well as this snippet over here. This means that the worst possible treatment Walmart has ever received is distinguished. That little icon means distinguished. If you see a little red marker right there, it doesn't mean that you can't use it and cite to it. It just means that some court has overturned it based on some point of fact or law. So I just want you to be aware of that because you want to dig deeper to see how it's been treated overall, and you do that in case analysis. So this is just a quick snapshot. You know this case has been treated positively 1 million times and distinguished 152 times, but we'll actually jump into all that in just a second. But I want to show you this. It's the description of these indicators, because right off the bat, you wouldn't necessarily know that means distinguished. So if you see an icon and you don't know what it means, and you want to look at this cheat sheet, because a couple that I think are not intuitive are caution and superseded by statute. This one's pretty intuitive, negative, as well as positive, but just keep in mind where this is located, and it's going to be right below the cheat sheet over here. So then, once you take a look at that, a couple other things to point out. We've got BNA head notes, and so for a case like this, you can follow the topical path to find other case law, and then we'll have citations within the case itself. But up above, a couple pieces of information. Oop, I just clicked on one accidentally. Okay, so we're in case analysis right now. This is the more comprehensive view of B-Site. So it's every single case that has cited to Walmart. You're going to be able to filter by citation case analysis or citing case status. So if you only want positive cases, you can go ahead and filter that way. If you only want distinguished cases, you can filter that way. The distinguished ones are actually really great to read because they're going to provide you with good analysis. And then over here you have the ability to click on the extract and read what this Warledge case says about Walmart. And you can actually pull up all of these at the same time by making them visible. So that's going to save you a lot of time rather than pulling them out one by one. Do you guys have any questions on case analysis? Okay. Direct history is going to be what did the other courts say? So what did the trial court say? What did the Court of Appeals say? This one is interesting because it's a class action. So you're going to notice that other individual plaintiffs filed suit against Walmart after the Walmart v. Dukes decision. So you'll actually see 2014, 2013. So you're going to have a lot more information in one of these rather than just a regular case. Table of authorities is every case that's cited within the Walmart decision, and so you want to just keep that in mind if you want to read one of those. Citing documents will be your secondary content. And so law reports, books, treatises, even dockets and things like that would be included in the secondary content. Do you have any questions on any of that?
You want to explain just what law reports?
Yes, definitely.
Yeah.
Okay, so law reports are a secondary source on Bloomberg by BNA. They're going to be located, if you wanted to find a list of all of them, right over here, BNA law reports. I would sign up for one of these. Each one of you, I would sign up for one of these. The reason why, let me go ahead and jump into them, is because they're essentially newspapers on a specific area of law. They're written by attorneys. So let's jump into, let's see. They're organized by topic and by title. So if we wanted some of the environmental ones, you're going to see how many we have. We might want energy and climate. We might want the environment reporter. Let's just jump into this one as an example. You're going to see the latest issue right here, and this one was just, it just came out yesterday. And you're also going to see latest developments. So this is a really good way to stay on top of current awareness in your industry. Because again, they're going to address articles that are all on climate and environment. The way that you would sign up for one of these, if you want to go ahead and subscribe, is to manage your email notifications right here. And if I click in that gray box, all you have to do is go ahead and drop down. I'm actually receiving notifications for that one already, but if you wanted to sign up for it, you can set notification. And it will add it to your list over here, and then again, we'll make sure your email is enabled and it will go straight to your email. Sign up for as many of these as you want, and I can't suggest it enough because the reason why is, one, it's a good way to stay on top of your industry. Two, it's a really good way to provide you with talking points to other people who work in that industry, and if you're kind of comparing two different fields, you're not sure which one you're more interested in, it's going to give you a good indicator of what you would actually do in that industry for work. So let me just show you something else. If I go back into this general search, this is a good place to search for a law report. If you're like, I'm not really sure which one to sign up for, search a couple keywords that pop up a lot for you and see which law reports address those keywords. So that's a good way to kind of help you right from the get-go. But you're going to see, again, they're all organized by topic and by title over here. You're located in here. And the news was the next thing I was going to jump into, because for all of you, there's a ton of really good news. So just so you know, in Bloomberg, the news is far better than you're going to get anywhere else. And I really mean it. We're the third biggest provider of news in the entire world. So, and that's just Bloomberg news, not everything else. So you guys have full access to the New York Times, Wall Street Journal, things you would normally pay for, and you get them for free in here. So if you wanted to sign up for one particular news resource, you do that under source. So if you wanted, for instance, the New York Times, you'd want to go ahead and plug that in right here. If you're searching something more generally, don't plug in a source, keep that blank, and it would search everything we have, and we've got thousands of news resources, thousands upon thousands. You could plug in your keywords, you could plug in your topic or region, but if you just want a New York Times, you'd run your search. And the way you would subscribe to something like this, because I often get questions, well, can I just subscribe to the headlines for every day? This is what you would do. You set that as your search parameter, and then you create a search alert. And so by doing this, you can title it, you could set a frequency so you want it daily. You can even set the time that you receive the news. So if you like to read the news in the morning at like 7, you can set something at that time, and all of your alerts would come in at that time. And so what's nice is if you wanted to be aware of the titles or the headlines every day for the New York Times, that would be the way to stay on top of it. Do you have any questions on that? Okay.
Yeah, that's how I read the New York Times, is I give it to official alert.
Yeah.
It's really great.
And what's nice is, again, this is going to be helpful to you if you're not sure. Like for Indian law, I don't know the best source of news for something like that. So what I would do is plug in a few keywords that come up for you. Maybe plug in a region if you know you're doing research on that region, and you're going to see the news sources that are going to be the best for you. So I would definitely do that. Let me just show you one other thing. You may have noticed that recommended articles come up. That's really nice. So something that I was fascinated by is the Amazon Dash button. Did you hear about this? Okay. Amazon released.
Oh, yes, I was just telling my husband about that.
Yes.
So
Okay.
interesting.
So on
So
April
crazy.
Fool's Day, Amazon released this new product called the Amazon Dash button. It was like really smart marketing because everybody was like, is this a joke? Is it serious? What it does is, and let me pull it up for you. I'll just pull it up. I'm just going to search dash button as my keyword. And I put it in quotes because I want it to be specifically dash button. It would assume an and if you didn't put that in quotes. Okay, so what it is it's a button that is around your house in certain areas. So like, you put it next to your toilet paper, or you put it next to your milk, and you click the button when you need to reorder this item. And if you already use Amazon for groceries, it then just delivers it straight to you. You don't need to do anything else. So it's like futuristic and lazy at the same time.
Isn't everything futuristic? Wally.
So I don't know what's going to happen. I mean, your guess is as good as mine with this one. But if you wanted to stay on top of the dash button, you could set an alert, or you can actually read these recommended articles, and you're going to see, okay, this is the source right here. So this one's Forbes. This is Bloomberg News. BN means Bloomberg. And so you know right away what source it's from and whether or not it's something you can trust, or you're like, you know, if this was Us Weekly reporting the dash button, maybe you don't want to use that article. So keep that in mind when you're looking at it.
It's people and us people.
I read Us Weekly, so I'm guilty. Okay. Just a couple other things. I feel like there's a lot more I could show you, but before I forget, as you're doing your research, this help tab is going to be really helpful to you. It's our customer service, and it's the same number I called earlier, and we've got an email and a live chat option. So you definitely want to utilize these guys. We also have answers to questions over here. So you remember I mentioned dockets. You can't remember how to find one. You can jump into dockets right here and find answers to questions without even having to call or email them. But again, that's always going to be located up at the top right here for any of those, for email, for phone, for that little cheat sheet, or for the live chat. The research tool is also really helpful. So if you're researching, you create this amazing search string, 3 months later, you can't recall how you found what you needed or how you created it. This is good for 6 months, and it highlights everything you've clicked on. So you're going to see everything I've just clicked on today, but you could go into view all and find something by document, by date, by keyword. So keep that in mind. Something is never lost, and I think that's important the more research you do. And then also over here, certification. This is probably one of the best ways to learn about the site. It's a set of videos and then a test, and it's about an hour long. So if you feel like you could really use a little bit more training, I would definitely suggest watching the videos and taking the quiz. And then you can put it on your resume too. So that's a good option for you. The whole thing takes about an hour, but don't try and cheat and take the test without watching the videos, because you won't pass. I guarantee it. We did this with our product advocates, and we tested it and found that if you watch the videos, you pass. If you don't pass. So do you guys have any questions? Do you feel like this is a good base for you?
Would you just show real quickly that new transactional?
Oh, yeah.
Corporate transactions, just because I thought you might be interested in it.
Okay.
See that.
So I didn't show you any of our transactional content. We've got a ton. So if you are asked to find a document or a clause, you want to do it in this transactional law tab. So over here, we've got hundreds of thousands of samples of documents and clauses. So things like bylaws or settlement language for an agreement or non-competition language, things like that. That's where you're going to find the basic agreements and clauses. But over here, we've got something that's brand new called the Draft Analyzer. It takes all of this different information and it allows you to pull it together and analyze it next to our different clauses and documents to see like how one thing would be median in terms of looking at a wide variety of options. So if, for instance, and let me just jump back for a second to make this make a little bit more sense. I'm going to jump into documents so you can see a document and then it will help you understand how the Draft Analyzer works. So for something like, say, an employment agreement, you could go ahead and plug in employment agreement right here. And say you wanted an employment agreement in a specific state. This is going to be really important too, because depending on the state that you're researching and working in, this language could be very different. So if you want it in Colorado, you want to make sure you plug in Colorado right here. And you're also going to have additional search options down here, but I'm going to just go ahead and run that just to keep it simple. So this is going to be the most recent in the system. It's from the 20th, so they're organized by date, and you're going to see we've got 693 that you can go ahead and filter on the left by industry, transaction, governing law. I'm going to go ahead and just plug in this one right away. So you'll see we've got our employment agreement. You want to now know how similar this is to all the other employment agreements we have in our system. Because especially when you're starting out, you don't know if this is normal, or maybe it's an example of something that's like a little bit on this side in terms of some of these provisions. So if you were to go ahead and run Draft Analyzer, this would compare everything we have in the system. It's really neat. This is actually brand new. So we had all these agreements and documents, but we didn't have the ability to analyze them until fairly recently. And so now you'll see it's working and its wheels are turning, and you're going to see all the different templates that you have to work with here, and you can actually look at them by redlining them and see, like, of course this provision is very different in every agreement because it tells you the party names. So that should be different in every one you look at.
Yeah.
But that's going to help you to figure out, is this normal? Like, is a termination provision that you're looking at normal?
Could you copy and paste though from like Westlaw, like their practical, if you have a contract from them into Bloomberg and analyze it versus your contracts, or is that?
You could, yeah. So that's kind of like cheating a little bit, but I'm going to tell you how to do it. So there's an option to post your own language. And so you can use Westlaw's language as your own language and then compare it with what we have. So the way you would do that is to go into this tab, and there are two different places you could do that. One is here, which I just showed you. There's the option to plug in your own language by cutting and pasting. So compare it with your own language. The other way you can do it is within our clauses. And let me show you how to do that. So within clauses, you have the ability to redline, like what we just saw. So for instance, if you wanted, let's look up non-compete language. So if you wanted, and I'm going to do that to include non-competition too, and say we wanted this, I'm not even going to select an agreement actually, I'm just going to do non-compete language. And you're going to actually have quite a bit to work with here. So if we just ran a search for non-compete language in any document, so we're not even searching a specific document type, you're going to see we've got over 1,000. So many different titles. But if you wanted to go ahead and just plug up, or let's see, we'll pull up this one. You wanted to look at this one compared to another document, you would click compare. So we'll pull up this one. Okay, so you're gonna have this option on the left, say we'd already looked at it, we like it. You can then use your own text right here, and that's where you use Westlaw's text. Or you can also use another one in our system. So say, let's pull up this one. These two are gonna be really different, I know already by the title. If you go ahead and click compare, you'll see the two side by side, and if you click compare, it's gonna show you the red line as well as the side by side for the
Isn't that
two.
amazing? It's really cool
It is really cool.
feature. Are most of these documents all coming out of EGRA filings?
Yes.
Are they coming from anywhere else, or is it just from EGRA filings? Is it coming from law firm stuff or from Trius form books?
So most of them are from Edgar. We've got a team who works on this part of the site, and they're the ones who review the documents and determine whether to use them or not. Most are from Edgar, some are from larger law firms, but they're not gonna be from a source like little attorney practicing down the street. They're all gonna be from larger law sources. And you can actually see where we get them by looking at the party names. So if we were to go back to that list that we originally looked at, this list right here, you can see right away where we're actually getting these different documents. And you always have the option to filter on the left by industry, and then also by different types of deals. So if you wanted something that's smaller, I mean, you're gonna see these are more business focused, but that said, if you go into documents and clauses, you can see the list of everything we have in that search tree. So if you said, you know, I'm not sure if you have an example of, a bear humbler is a good one because most people don't know what it is. If you click on the I, it's named after her wrestling maneuver, and it's an unsolicited offer to purchase a company. So that's kind of an obscure one that we do have. So you just want to take a look at this list. It's funny, isn't it? And then also, even to back up a second, we also have secondary content in here too. So if you're asked to draft something and you don't know where to start, I would actually recommend this transactional resources tab first, because we have document and clause descriptions and forms and checklists and timelines. So this is the place to me to start if you say, I don't even know where to go. And then go into the documents and then into the clauses. Because these are going to help you, like this one right here, boilerplate clauses. You're going to see these in every single document that you look at. So if you're looking at a contract, I guarantee you're going to see time is of the essence, or you're going to see severability. So time is of the essence means that something has to be performed in a critical, time-sensitive manner. It means the same thing in every contract, but now you guys know what it means. So when you see that, oh, okay. So that's a really good place to start. That would actually be funny because there are not a whole lot of differences in terms of these provisions.
Right. Oh, thank you. That's just so interesting.
I know. Thank
Really
you for
useful as
letting
a
me know.
practitioner, yeah.
I know. Any other things you can think of? Okay, it's 1 o'clock on the nose, so I'm sure you guys are pretty excited to take a little breather.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you for lunch, too.
You're welcome.
Yeah, thank you.
Oh,